about, I think it was an article from, I don't know if it's an Indian official or someone, but it was someone from India, just talking like, now the Queen has passed away. It's time for us to reassess the setup of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And what the article was suggesting was an idea of the powers of the head of the Commonwealth moving between countries. I don't know if ECOWAS does it. Does ECOWAS do we switch heads, or is it just?
I think it's elected.
Yeah, it's
second election.
It's like
so
every 3 years or something like that.
3 years, but it's not just Nigeria. Like the head of ECOWAS switches.
That's what's in second
So
election.
so that's what they're suggesting for the Commonwealth, like the head of the Commonwealth switches, and that just made me think of like, given the current situation Britain is in, where they've come out from the EU, like, isn't it just a no-brainer to be like, alright, let's actually make this Commonwealth what it's actually supposed to be?
Because it even works in their favor, actually.
Yes,
it works in their favor.
This is now obviously there's the origin of the Commonwealth comes from
colonization.
Yeah, it comes from like it comes from a troubled history, right?
Yeah.
But we are here now, and we can both leverage it to our advantage. So this is something where you're not just geographic. I see it more like in NATO, right? It's not like ECOWAS is geographically based. You can have EU geographically based, but this is countries all spread in different strategic locations all around the world that have come together. Yes, for an unfortunate reason or history. But we are here now, and we can actually, you know what, let's make this a thing. Let's actually work together, not just from a silly games and Olympic sports and general name, but let's actually make sure all these countries are patterned, and we are actually looking into our resources, and we are leveraging our resources. Because if you think about the countries in the Commonwealth, there are actually some Muslim countries.
Brother, listen, they have Africa on deck. They have the best of Asia in terms of
literally
India.
There's India, there's Africa, there's Nigeria, there's South Africa, there's Canada, there's a lot of badman countries,
Caribbean countries as well.
There's a lot of strategically positioned countries that you can actually leverage and make it like is a really strong and powerful thing.
Do you
but
know
on one hand, I mean, do you believe their racism can see past that?
That's what I wanted to hit now.
but my thing is, like, really, like, why are we still even looking at racism in this day and age? See, listen, I don't need to like you to work with you. That's your mindset. Even if you're going to be racist to me, I know, and that's all right. But the thing is, because you're racist to me too, I'm gonna develop something else to counter that, just to protect myself. And I feel like that's the mindset we need to start having, like, more and more. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, in terms of, let's counter stuff as opposed to like looking at, what is this? But because truly, right? When we think about racism, we're truly giving somebody power over us. Because when you think, why is this person trying to suppress me? But if you act as if you don't see it, you think in a much more creative way that, like, that person can, like, whoever your competition is, can never figure you out.
I think there are two clashing fears about this, right? I believe that on the part of, let's say, the racists, right, so like people that are in power and trying to implement these policies that we think that they should implement, right? Like this kind of thing that they can transfer the Commonwealth, the heads, right? They would always, I feel as if there's a fear in that Africans, let's say, like Nigerians, are going to usurp them at some point. And on the other hand, people that are feeling like oppressed, let me use that term, are also kind of scared and saying, I know this person has done shit to me, like, for the past century or so.
Make a good point.
So they'll be like, I have to, as you said, like, protect my back. And there's always that clash. And that's why I feel like with that mentality, people are not going to be ready to work together.
Now, this is my philosophy on this, right? But it comes down to human nature, right? Like, everything we're doing, right from the playground level, the way we arrange ourselves when we're all 5-year-old kids, and we have the kid who is the most aggressive kid, or the dominant kid, or the confident kid, and you have the second in line who is almost there, but you also respect there's a hierarchy, and you have the rest of the kids, and you have just some kids that no one fucks with, and we all just arrange ourselves, and we begin to live in some local society. that microcosm, expand that to the entire world, and you have the same thing as the government. So the similarity I'm trying to draw is based on working with people that have not really conflicting interests, but like poor history together. They have the same common interests, but they have difficult relations between themselves. I say treat it like a gang, the same way the suppliers, the top, not the top boy that is the drug dealer in the town, but like even the guy that is over what Lobos was in Ghost, when he had like the guy that is actually the distro, exactly. So you have all these different gangs that you're supplying all under you, but they really don't fuck with each other, and they're trying to control their own territory and trying to make their own profit for themselves. But as the distro, you have to kind of manage everybody in line. You have to sometimes give this person a little bit of leverage, something. Give this person. It's just managing all that. You can treat the same way as that. Yes, we all have some conflicting history, but we have the same common interest. So whoever is head is just going to figure out this time maybe Britain gets a bit of something, this time this person gets a bit of something, and you keep everybody in check. Like we've done this before. Like we don't need to see this from the perspective of government. This is just normal human relations. Like our history is our history, but it doesn't mean we can't work together and work into a common future. And even after the future that we've achieved the future, it doesn't mean we're cool. The beef can still be there. It doesn't it's like perfect example is Top Boy, Sully and Jamie. Yeah. They work together in the whole season, but once he told him, once this shit is done, I'm clipping you. And literally when it was done, he clipped it.
And Jamie didn't realize that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you can still work together, even if this what we have is not cool. We're not cool, but there's a common goal we are trying to achieve. Let's go achieve that common goal. And once we are done, whatever happens.
But in all fairness, I hear what everybody's saying. But my thing is, what I'm even thinking about is not cool. For me, I'd rather develop, I'd rather do a Tony Stark type strategy in terms of, rather than thinking of my enemies, I just keep developing like the best way to protect myself as much as I can, rather than thinking of offing somebody. Because my energy is, if I keep developing, say like, you know how he ended up developing like a nanotech or whatever, like to make him like more efficient and stuff like that. Like if you think about working in a system where everybody is thinking of that way, guy, I feel like mutual respect will be built in a way where, like, at the end of the day, the goal will be bigger than your actual emotional feelings towards whatever situation brought you guys together, if you get what I mean. Like, the goal will be too big that, like, if racism is becoming too much of a thing, everybody can, like, you need to shut the fuck up, like, because this is fucking up the business, and the goal is getting bigger. Like, like, everybody will unite to stop something. If you work towards, just making ourselves better and putting ourselves in a better position, as opposed to, I know I don't fuck with you. Because really, at the end of the day, like, I personally feel, if you have that feeling, like, we can get lost by not achieving that goal, and we can get lost in our emotions. That's what I'm trying to say. We can get lost in our emotions that will actually allow us not achieve a goal that was far more important than the emotional feeling we're feeling. So I mean, that's just my take, sir.
Yeah, those are fair points that you guys raised. But two things I want to note now is, the first one is, like, forgive but never forget, right? Like you cannot expect someone that has killed your parents. You can say, okay, fine, we are going to work together for a few years, or for like 10 years or something. But the fact that person killed your parents, after that work is done, as Chips pointed out with like Jamie and Sully, you need to pattern the person, right? And the second thing I want to touch on is, like, to counteract one of Chips' earlier points, is that you're coming from a mentality of rationale, like you're rational about it, disciplined about it. But a lot of humans are emotional. And just to piggyback off on that, like, news that I saw earlier about one guy was in France or Spain that was deported because he had he did something good. I can't remember the full story, but then he was deported because he didn't have papers. And the point I raised was that humans are like facts.
This guy found money and he went to turn it in.
Yeah, that was the story.
And then they found out that he didn't have any papers, so they deported
him. So like I was saying, like the fact
let's never say that was good. That was so stupid. He deserves
no, but from his perspective, he probably thought, yo, they think I'm a good.
And give him.
Yo, Diallo. They think I'm a good. I've got my papers.
That was stupid. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're dumb. I said 911, run, nigga, run.
Oh my nigga,
what? See what? I'm so sorry. I'll give you a second, but whoa. How can you get money?
Yeah, and
you want to go and give it back? What? Instead of getting this money, use the same method.
I mean, it was a fair gamble. You could have worked positively.
The chances are low.
The fact is, you've already given them a leverage for them to be able to take that citizenship anytime they want to. When you give them that money, because if somebody comes into, say for example, right, they give him legitimate citizenship and whatever, and then now his ambition starts getting big, right? No, it's fact. His ambition starts getting big, and he's competing with like big business people. What? In an instant, if they need to send him back to Mauritius or wherever the fuck he came from, they'll do it within an instant, because they'll just change the. What do people do right now? They change that. Look at how they do with the Queen's like death. How they make everything like sad. As in, we shouldn't be sad. We should be like celebrating her life. But the point I'm trying to make is very easy for them to change anything with media narrative, so they can do it, man. Like that's what I'm saying.
Just finish on my point. Like with that story, like the fact that a lot of humans are emotional is going to affect human relations for centuries to come. That very fact that people cannot just take something as like fact based and always try to play on emotions, try to use emotions to affect everything. You cannot say someone that like with the American lady that she said, oh, she's happy that the Queen is dead. She's coming from an emotional point of view. You cannot now say, okay, like she should come and walk with someone that has killed her parents or her grandparents or whatever the case may be. She's always going to be emotional about that kind of situation.
So to your first point of killing the person after the job is done, I'm not prescribing that. I'm just saying, like, if you want to do that at the end of the day, you might work with the person and actually realize, no, I actually like this person and the beef was not that deep. Or you might work with the person and hate the person more. I don't know. Whatever happens after is up to you. I'm not saying you have to clip the person. Or I'm not saying you have to revenge. I'm not saying you have to forgive. Whatever it's up to you. The second point of coming from an emotional perspective, not rationale. To me, rationale is the intersection of logic and emotion. So what people call rationale, sometimes they're probably talking to logic. Logic is strict based. Logic is
facts.
Logic is, my dad killed my wife, so I killed his wife. But his wife is my mom. That's stupid. You get what I'm saying? So that logic is just like straight on. A is equals to B, B is equals to C. And then you have emotions, which is feelings. And to me, rationale is the middle. So what I'm talking about, if you saying this is rationale, I'm saying that's correct. That is rationale. That is, I still don't like you, but I know I've got a greater interest. I've got something, I've got a higher purpose. So I might as well like leverage both. I can still be emotional about it, but still understand the logic that I have something to achieve, and that's the rationale. That's the coming together of both. Both emotion and logic. So
that's a good skill to use. But then at the end of the day, you're going to see a lot of people sliding towards one end, which happens like in reality anyways. Like,
and I think that's the letdown of society, man. The fact that society is so emotional, and that, to me, I believe a lot of that is due to the feminization of society. But I think that's a conversation for another day, so we should just move on and get to the next. I think you should off your mic. I think we should off your mic and let's move into another conversation.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean by the feminization of the world? No, talk to me. Talk to me. It's so part.
The future of Commonwealth is female. I mean that's a topic for another day. It's not. It's a deep topic to go into. But I stand on that statement. I do believe a lot of the emotionality that we are seeing in society today is due to the feminization or the overcompensation of femininity in society. Now, that doesn't mean femininity is bad, and that doesn't mean masculinity is good. It's just that for society to function, we need to have a perfect balance. If you have too much of one, if you have too much masculinity, that's not good. If you have too much femininity, that's not good.
Yeah.
Can I